Remember, there's a Steeler game
I'll
on
be brief,
tonight.
yeah, we got a game to watch. Okay, so we submitted our engineer's report yesterday. The first item on there is Findlayville-Arima Road sewage project. As we know, the sanitary authority and their engineers submitted the 537 plan to the township for us to review and eventually act upon. I know we're having ongoing discussions with PCSA regarding the township's funding contribution to the capital costs. And I know we're awaiting some input from PCSA and Lennon Smith about capacities and design related components, things of that nature. So our office is currently working on a grant application with statewide LSA program, funding program. We have a couple grant applications that we're working on. That project is one of them. I had a conversation yesterday with Lennon Smith, the engineer for PCSA, about how we wanted to break up components of that project so that our office can apply to the statewide LSA program for a portion of the project on behalf of the township. And I believe the sewer authority will also be putting forth their own application for a different component of the project. So
what you're saying is that we can only apply for what portion because it's gonna be ultimately their sewer.
exactly, and that's gonna
So
be
we can't apply for just anything because it's not our storage line in the end.
right. And we talked about that too. We'll have to make it pretty clear in our application that, hey, this, we're applying for a grant for infrastructure that ultimately
We won't,
the sewer authority will be the owner of and operate. So
which makes it a little trickier.
it does make it trickier, yeah. So it was a good dialogue. I thought we came to a good conclusion there. So I'm sure we'll be continuing the conversation on that project here. We talked quickly about Tuscany Estates. There is a meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Between myself and Dennis Quaker, Miranda, and Gateway to talk about the pending issues with the original phases, I'll call them, of the Tuscany plan, as well as talking about the path forward for Miranda.
And just to make it clear, Diana had sent everything, if you can get it in your boxes or whatever. Any supervisors also welcome to come.
Certainly, yep, absolutely. The conditional use application that Miranda Holmes has submitted is to continue the additional phases at Tuscany Estates. That application remains on the table of the Planning Commission at this time. We've received time extension requests from the applicant, Miranda, as we continue to work towards resolving the infrastructure issues up there at Tuscany and resolving the punch list items that Quaker still needs to complete as part of their original phases. So I skipped over item 2 since that's on the agenda. I'm also going to skip over items 6 and 7 since they're on the agenda as well. Item number 5 is Mingo Circle Sewage Project. We talked last month about the meeting that took place down at DEP's office in Pittsburgh about the status of this project. Coming out of that meeting, they requested that the township provide the department with a letter and some other deliverables. It's my understanding that Dennis has provided that information to DEP.
What I did is that I had Ms. Dupree, with your input, my input, put
Right.
together a rather elaborate, detailed letter of what occurred in October of 2022 in terms of staffing, and I just took their letter plus her exhibits, and we mailed that by certified mail and also by email to the DEP. The letter was really proposed by Ms. Dupree.
Right. So I'm sure we'll be continuing the conversations with DEP regarding that consent order and agreement and the implementation schedule that's associated with it. Like I said, 6 and 7 are on the agenda, so I'll skip to 8. Touched on this briefly with the Findlayville-Arima Road Sewer Project, but we're working on a few grant applications. Last week, our office submitted applications to the Washington County local share account funding program for the Snee Road Bridge Replacement Project, Mingo Circle Sewage Project, and a potential MS4 stream bank restoration project. So those applications were submitted before the deadline, which was October 25th. We're working on the applications now for the statewide LSA program, 2 different programs, county and state. So we are completing applications for those same 3 projects, as well as the aforementioned application for Finleyville Orema Road, as discussed with Lennon Smith. I have copies of the resolutions that are necessary for those applications with me this evening. I think at last month's meeting, I passed a motion to approve any resolutions necessary for the LSA grant application, so I don't believe there's any other administrative action needed tonight for those, but I'll need Diana or Michelle to sign those at some point so we can turn them in. And then I think, so that's the grant applications that are in progress. The last thing I have is Cardox Road. Second week of October, I met with Steve and Albert. We took a ride out to Cardox Road again to take a look at what was going on there. It's my understanding the road crew has removed some of the barriers that had been there for an extended period of time. Our office put together a letter that had some recommendations and a potential procedure to kind of finish that project off so that we can remove the remaining barriers that are there. Obviously that was left incomplete, so I think that's something that'll be addressed again potentially in the spring. Asphalt plants are rapidly closing down now for the season, so I think that'll be something that we'll revisit maybe next year, but I believe that is all that I have on my list tonight. Does anybody have any questions or concerns for me at this point?
No. You don't think there's anyone else? You guys good?
Yeah.
We're good, TJ.
Thank you.